Marshall says the message is if you come into the United States illegally, you will be sent back to your home country.
It's all part of President Trump's plan to utilize military resources and crack down on illegal immigration.
To be able to have people back in their home countries within 7 hours, arrange a plane like this, 2,700 miles, that puts you pretty much anywhere in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and anywhere in between.
And the flight crew told me that this was the same flight crew that brought that group of illegal migrants over the weekend to Colombia. The Colombia government initially turned that plane around. You know what happens next. President Trump stepped in, threatened tariffs, and the government backed down right away. So they're hoping that is going to send a really strong message to any other country that decides not to cooperate and accept these planes with their own citizens inside, guys.
Hey, so Brooke, I got a question for you. There's a story in our packet today about how down in Florida, two vans were being driven that had, I think, 24 Chinese nationals in it. They had been smuggled into the country, apparently. China will not take back their people. Obviously, Ecuador does, and that's why that flight just went there. What other countries have already said, have they either said no, don't send them, or yes, we'll take them?
We know that a flight went to Guatemala and now Ecuador, and the authorities took that flight that I mentioned to Colombia that denied these illegal migrants. This was the perfect example, right? You have them denying their own citizens, not taking them in. President Trump immediately taking action, saying, okay, if you're not going to listen to me, then watch what happens. And this is the perfect example. They want to show countries who don't cooperate. You don't listen to us, us will watch what happens next.
Wow. Great reporting, Brooke.
Thank you very much.
So the bigger question is Venezuela, Cuba,
China.
and China. Those people that don't take it. And they're talking about Sudan. So some of those other governments said, yeah, we'll take them. And they say, good, we'll put them in our prison if you're going to pay me to do it. So now if you want to cross and get into America, all right, you're going to cross illegally, you might end up in Sudan.
What about
that? Yeah.
We got a lot of room to get one.
Why not fly them to another country, and then that country flies them into China?
This is going to be a part of the bigger story. We're going to be talking to the DHS Secretary about that later on in the program. Meantime, on the street of our cities, DHS takes several career criminals into custody doing ICE raids.
Yeah, this has been really successful. Alexis McAdams is in New York City right now. Alexis.
Hey, Bride, yeah, so this happened pretty quickly, and not only did they have a multi-agency effort on the ground right here in the Big Apple all throughout the middle of the night last night leading to those arrests, they also had the DHS Secretary herself out here, Kristi Noem, telling us that she was going to go one by one on those raids and watch who was taken out, saying they were targeting violent migrant criminals. She says she asked President Trump for this job because she knows how important it is. Watch.
Switch to TurboTax. File free in by 228. All 100% free. Now this is taxes.
Community is safer now. That's the reality of it. Everybody who has been concerned about walking their children to school or spending and doing business in these communities now know that New York City is safer because these dangerous criminals are gone and they're no longer living in their community.
The DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on the ground this week in New York City as those teams hit the streets in the middle of the night. You can see those pictures there. That was out in the Bronx, you guys. That was one of the top hot target areas, I'm told by crews, that they were targeting. It was a multi-agency effort aiming to remove violent criminals because they're not supposed to be here in the first place, the agency says. This comes as the New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he is in communication with DHS. His office saying this in part. Mayor Adams made it clear that New York City is committed to working with our federal partners to fix our broken immigration system and focus on the small number of people who are entering our localities and committing violent crimes. One of the top targets in New York City was a Venezuelan migrant identified by DHS as Anderson Zambrano Pacheco. They were looking for this guy for months. Pacheco arrested on kidnapping, assault, and burglary charges. Sources telling me he's part of that South American gang we've been talking about, Tren de Aragua. He was in the Bronx hiding out and had a warrant out for his arrest in Colorado Why? Because remember this viral takeover that happened out there in Aurora where the group of migrants was caught on camera armed with weapons, drug and gang arrests. Listen. So the raids are ongoing. They're not just in Denver. They're not just in Philly, out in Chicago, you name it. Not just in New York City. They're going one by one, trying to find these migrants who they say are dangerous. Back to you.
And Alexis, these are raids that are happening all across the country. And the administration has made it clear that they want at least 15 to 1,800 arrests. ICE has got a very long list. And so all they got to do is go find them.
That's right. And here in New York City, I was asking some of the sources who are on the ground trying to get more. Remember those high-profile migrant crime cases that we covered right for months here in New York City, like the migrants who beat those officers up in Times Square? Are they looking for them? Or are they looking for some of those high-profile suspects? Only time will tell.
Thank you so much, Alexis. If you look at some of the people that were arrested yesterday in New York City, one was with Trende Aragua. He was the leader, actually, 25 years old. He was one of the ones that was caught on camera in Aurora trying to break into that apartment. He was found by Homeland Security officers in an apartment building in the Bronx. And he has warrants out in Colorado for kidnapping, burglary, and menacing. The Dominican national that was also arrested, he was wanted for a double homicide. Beating his girlfriend to death was one of those murders. And she was a 25-year-old mother of two, according to the New York Post. They caught up with him in Upper Manhattan. They arrested two Mexican nationals. One was previously charged with 3 counts of rape and sexual assault, busted in the Bronx. The other one had been charged with attempted murder and caught in Queens.
And people are happy. They're happy that this is happening. And here's a headline from the New York Post today. New York City minority communities cheer ICE raids. They're rounding up violent criminals. Get them the hell off the street. That's Evelyn Brown. She said, get them the hell out of the street so people don't have to walk in fear. Take the damn bad ones away. That's the 80-year-old lady. And keep in mind, too, they're opening up another shelter in the Bronx. Why? Because they closed the one at Randall's Island that never should have been open. Which is, think about this, 12 to 15 fields that kids in the city, there's a finite amount of fields. They just took it up. So they got rid of that, but they have to open up another one. When they started protesting, the city told them that doesn't matter. We've already done it. So this is the thing that's going to end now. They're going to have somebody in Washington that feels their pain, understands the price, and is going to start grabbing these criminals away. What ripple effect is the border slowed to a trickle.
Well, they're celebrating because the people that are being victimized is the minority and the poor community. Martha's Vineyard didn't want to accept them. The rich neighborhood bring the migrants to the rich neighborhood. They reject them. They put them in the poor neighborhood. So they've been victimized on a day-to-day basis. So they want the criminals out of their community.
And that's what they're doing. And they made it very clear. Although with that flight we just saw, we did see some women involved. We don't know whether they have a criminal history as well. We're going to talk to Kristi Noem, who is the brand new Department of Homeland Security Secretary. She's got a big announcement you will only hear on Fox coming up the next half hour.
And keep in mind, too, there are people that are getting scooped up when they're not targeted. It's because they're with illegal aliens who have a criminal past. And then they'll say, listen, where's your ID? Oh, you don't belong here either? We're going to go examine you and put your case.
Lady came up to me on the street and said, you're tracking my location. And was yelling at me. So
what did you say? I don't,
I said, why did you go where you went?
That's an odd grocery store choice you made there.
When media outlets like Politico laugh off scrutiny of powerful figures like Bill Gates, even as global institutions quietly draft blueprints for lifelong digital ID and vaccine compliance, and who exactly is meant to question when public health ends and permanent surveillance begins.
A mere minutes after Charlie shot, there are two men that look rather mysterious. They appear, they move his chair, and they take down the camera directly or was directly behind his head. Why did they do that? You can see. Slow down here. He pulls out the chair. He pulls out the chair. Stands on it, and yes, that would be a big no-no for anything. You don't move anything. he takes down the camera that is directly above where Charlie was sitting. And would be able to provide therefore a lot of insight, and then you can see sits the camera onto the desk, and it looks like he removes the
Hey guys, it's Matt. I was thinking about what happened to all those drone sightings. It was back in 2024. I know several people, including my stepfather, that saw a major drone, like right there, right on the horizon. I saw one, but it wasn't like what most people saw around the Philadelphia area. Of course, the stars don't go, all of a sudden start moving and go, a little. So basically 5 minutes after talking to Greg about it, I went outside and said to Greg, because it was back up. It was happening more. I think most of it was in the Northeast, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, some states less so in the far south or west, but I'm not exactly sure. I know there were sightings in 20 or more states, and this went on for several months, I believe. It was even a major story on the world news. I was talking to Greg about it. I went outside. I said, I saw one. You saw one just in a few seconds? I said, that's it. I don't need to see anymore. I walked back inside. Something I probably said to Greg. Well, this is stemming from consciousness. You think some aliens? Some aliens are coming down from Vega. What did they do in contact? Jodie Foster. Hail to Vega. Hail to Vega. It's not aliens. It stems from consciousness. Of course. So I spent some time this morning trying to research what happened to all these drones in 2024, or whenever they were spotted. And Google's little pet, what's Google's little pet called? Gemini. It sits its little pet on me. It's AI overview, and it said, here's one of the things that came up. I'll show you the AI overview in a minute. 2024 United States drone sightings. After reviewing extensive video evidence, Austin stated that all of these sightings were either misidentified airplanes or small drones whose use had increased. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. All these. My stepfather, he knows what a Radio Shack drone is when you go to like a Walmart and he gets that plastic thing from China with the four propellers. Some kids controlling it, eating a Snickers bar. He knows the difference. Wasn't some piece of shit, plastic shit, or little shit they do drone racing. It was like a big freaking thing. Okay, it wasn't like what people that don't say, oh, you're just Matt, don't you understand the FAA registered more drone ownership, and you have to now register with the FAA if it's over a certain weight. Oh yeah, sure. That's not what it was. Folks, the people that saw this stuff are not crazy. My stepfather said it was big. I don't know what it was. It wasn't from Radio Shack. It wasn't from no Walmart. And people, there were a lot, thousands and thousands of similar descriptions. Now, big like the ship that came over Los Angeles and Independence Day? No, but I don't know. They described it, 5, 7, 10 feet long, and it was kind of right there, close, but he wasn't sure how close. To me, this likely was a consciousness experiment or a consciousness experiment gone wrong, because the government had pushed what the last 2 or 3 years before that. All this alien stuff, which is also calmed down a bit. Matt, you saying all this alien shit that the government pushed out? It was like a consciousness experiment gone wrong, or a consciousess symptom where the government maybe didn't anticipate this. Consciousness, because everybody was reading about aliens every day in a freaking magazine. It went bad. People started to manifest little alien ships and shit. I'm not joking. That's how this reality works. Look, let me back. I'm not saying that's what it was, and I'm sure and confident. But you don't come to this channel for small thinking. Sometimes, many times, big thinking is right on the border of crazy ass nuts. But I assure you, big thinking that crosses over the line of world news. So now that all this drone stuff has gone away on the back end, we'll read this in just a moment. Of course, the take is, well, it was nothing. People were seeing the wrong thing. Oh, AI overview. The flurry of mysterious drone sightings, particularly around New Jersey in late 2024, has largely subsided. Pootie Tang Award, with federal agencies attributing most to misidentified aircraft, hobbyist drones. Give me a break. Unauthorized flights. Those some inexplicable incidents remain. While sightings drop due to a mix of factors, including public attention. There it is. There's the consciousness manifestation factor. Including public attention shifting and official explanations like some being FAA-approved research drones. Sure. The mystery isn't fully resolved for everyone, with local officials still noting unusual, unexplained drone behaviors. This video below, blah, 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 blah. See, there's the truth drop. Where is it? The public's attention shifting. That's it. Therefore, we'll back it up, rephrase the sentence. Public's attention manifested it through consciousness. I'm not joking. AI overview. The U.S. government started investigating UFOs, now UAPs, in the late 1940s. But serious or reciteer public disclosure talk escalated. The 2017 NYT article on a secret Pentagon program, the AATIP, and gained momentum with congressional hearings in 2022, whistleblower testimony in 2023, and legislative pushes like the 2023 UAP Disclosure Act, moving from secrecy to mandated transparency for UAPs and potential non-human technology. So let me get this straight. You're from Davenport. So you're really smart. Right before all the drone sightings in the 3-year period prior, there were all these government hearings on alien disclosure, or UAPs, or videos taken from the nose cone fighter jets showing weird shit flying around up there, and there were whistleblowers, and there were congressional hearings, and it was in the news, But when some conspiracy asshole comes along and says there were no drones, didn't come from no airport, didn't come from no Vega. Consciousness itself created it. And then once they whether it was a planned experiment or a symptom of something that went wrong, maybe we'll never know. Or intelligence. What they're saying is, oh, you didn't see anything. There was nothing. It was from Walmart. It was Walmart. That's what Facebook is telling me. Stop insulting my intelligence. Maybe they didn't plan for this. Let me come back and show you. I'll talk into the camera. My ugly mug will talk into the camera. I don't sleep too good. I'm in a different room. Two cats, and they both wake me up all night. I'm not looking too good. I'm not on drugs. It's the cats. Trust me. I'm not sleeping very well. Getting woken up 5, 6, 7 times. Czar clawing at the. I assure you, as crazy as some of these theories are, and I'm not putting on my chips. I'm not saying I'm sure this is what happened. I'm saying as big thinkers, we should leave it on the table. Even if it's completely wrong, I assure you it's closer to the truth than what comes on the news. Yeah, I don't look too good. But as I said, I'm not on drugs. I'm not an alcoholic yet. Last night, watching that old man run around play for the Steelers was Aaron Rodgers. An old man out there in his Steelers outfit, pretending to play. Actually, he plays quarterback better than most other quarterbacks in the league. But he's an old man, as Uma Thurman would say in Dangerous Liaisons. I'm not an alcoholic yet. Last night I had an IPA. Was it the Sly Fox 113? And I had a glass of wine from the Boda box. I got a box. Glass of wine and an IPA. That's not great. But it's not alcoholic level. Sorry. Okay. So in terms of if these drones were manifested from consciousness, as I said, this is pretty crazy to many people. To the old guard, they're saying, yeah, this is likely. The old guard sees it. Now, it could have been planned from the very beginning. I need to find Bill's poster where their backroom meetings take the form of a monkey with a floating Baphomet. All of this could be a gigantic reality experiment, or the other possibility, if there's a degree of truth in what I'm saying, it could be basically the actions of the not milk. The actions of the deep state gone wrong, gone bad, where they had to call an emergency meeting. Saying we didn't anticipate this. Let's get Melvin and Bezos and everybody here. Don't come in the form of a monkey. Come in your regular human form. As they shapeshift. I'm just kidding. I'm not one of those crazy truthers. You're not one of those crazy truthers. You just propose the reality that consciousness caused the drones. That's not crazy. That's the way this reality works. So they called an emergency meeting and said, we have certain plans as to why we're doing all this disclosure while we're holding congressional hearings, and we didn't anticipate this. We have to completely shift gears.
Okay, I found it. Here it is. Bill's most famous poster. In this case, we'll use it a little bit differently. We'll say the emergency meeting of the sequential incarnation entities. Those I call not out to screw your spiritual journey.
It's an emergency meeting. The floating Baphomet calls an emergency meeting. Says things are going wrong. Now this is just one possibility. If there's any truth in what I'm saying, there's two main possibilities. I'll look to your comments to see if I'm missing anything. Where you think I should be locked up in an insane asylum? Possibility one. Emergency meeting. Take the form of a monkey. I'm just kidding. They probably don't shapeshift. Saying all this alien stuff that we've been dropping. You know, we have a 20-year plan on what we started with all this alien eyewitness testimony and disclosure. And things are going wrong. We didn't anticipate this. Maybe the floating Baphomet said to the sequential incarnations in the meeting. People are starting to manifest alien craft through consciousness. They know how this reality works. That consciousness, everything is derived from consciousness. The most valuable currency here is not money. The first grade truther. Oh, they wanted to build a pipeline. It's all about money. To the first grade truther. No attention. Where consciousness goes in terms of where it places its attention. And emotion is the currency to these creeps in this plane of existence. Nothing else matters. Energy, emotion, loosh. You think they give one shit about money when they can print up $1 trillion a second? First, second, third, fourth grade truther can't see past that. Things are going wrong. Emergency meeting. We didn't think that consciousness and the proletariat could start manifesting real alien craft and drones. There's nothing really there. There's nothing taking off from an airport or coming in from Vega. Manifested from the populace of real spiritual beings that in a way generate this reality. So they called the emergency meeting, perhaps, and said, we need to tone down all this alien stuff. And little George Soros raised his hand. He said, does that mean we have to push back the fake alien invasion? Oh, yeah, we got to push back the fake alien invasion for another 10 years. I used to laugh at what I would call the first grade truther for saying that. But you know what? They were right. Not that I'm saying after C the V, and they can pull off anything today regarding how much or how securely they've placed the masses on the ship of fools. I used to think that was absurd, but you know what? They could do it. No, they could do it. They could do it. They can pull off almost anything. We learned that in See the V. So I used to laugh at the truth community that said, "Oh, they're going to fake an alien invasion." You know what? It's possible. It's possible. I underestimated how firmly in control of consciousness they have the masses on the ship of fools. So it could have been an emergency meeting saying we need to tone this down because people are starting to manifest little spaceships out the window. What do we do? We call it drones. We call it Radio Shack. We call it Walmart drones. We can downplay it. We can slowly remove all this talk of alien conscious focus. We'll go back onto Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or where it should be, on their reality TV. Survivor 50 is coming up. But we fucked up, they may have said in this emergency meeting. Or if somebody's yelling at me, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you right now, even before I've uploaded. That Matt, the whole point of the alien stuff, to manifest the drones, or to constantly play with what the creative beings in the populace of real spiritual beings is capable of in terms of manifesting shit out your window. It could have been a controlled experiment all along. Probably was. One of the two. Either way, what if one of my family members is listening to this? Guys, as I was doing a little bit of research about what the government was saying about UAPs or UFOs or unidentified things that military aircraft caught on camera or the pilot saw, I saw this, and it relates back to an old issue we've been talking about for many years. And our biggest frustration, one of our biggest, with the people around us on the ship of fools, they keep giving us these grainy, horrible videos and photos. Like this is basically what they showed us that the military fighter aircraft captured, that they brought forth in congressional hearings and testimony 2 or 3 or 4 years back. But some 16-year-old kid goes into the mall and he comes out, or she comes out with a brand new whatever, with a perfect 8K
macro lens that can take pictures of bugs, and you can film your own movies with the phone that the kid just walked out of the mall with, and everything is. But then the government in the $80 million plane, in the $80 million aircraft, they just can give you this. Why don't the 16-year-old kid that got the damn new phone, the smartphone, strap that phone on the end of the military aircraft, and maybe we'll get some clear pictures. Nobody ever talks about this except us. And they also do this in the mall events, in the school events. And remember there was that event where the CEO of was it United Healthcare? There was that. That guy has a fan club or something. There's thousands of women that was his name Max Leone or something. There's thousands of women that want to marry him. I'm not even joking. He's beloved by he has groups that follow him or things. It's all blurry. Whenever something happens, it's all grainy and all the street cam. But the kid walks out of the mall, and of course, I mean, it's so absurd. It's not even you can't even make fun of it. Yet grainy images are given, and people around us accept it, and then they'll go take a perfect 8K picture with their phone 20 seconds later. Yeah, this is what we have to deal with, folks. Many of you guys may remember I've talked about this book a few times over the past few years, The Mothman Prophecies by John Keel. And I'm just going to spend 2, 3, or 4 minutes on it here, reminding you what we talked about in those past videos of a year or two ago, but it's completely related to what's being discussed here today. By the way, it has different covers, this book. I know in at least 2 book covers, the primary color is magenta. Anybody surprised? Especially what we're talking about here. I'm not, but I'm sure you probably don't remember all that was discussed in those videos. So let me just bring up to speed 1 minute or less, then we'll tie this in and move on. Mothman Prophecies is mostly about just regular UFO encounters, spaceships landing on the farmer's farm, and little men coming out. There's a whole section on this Mothman phenomena, but that's only about a third of the book. It's mostly about bright lights on the highway in the middle of Alabama, and a spaceship lands. More your typical, not abduction as much, but more your typical alien spaceship encounters. Where just John Keel has documented hundreds and hundreds, and asked people to give their testimony. And let me just sum it up. Give me 30 more seconds. It's almost like if you remember the primary thing that I wanted to talk about in the videos when I talked about the Mothman Prophecies was he was almost afraid to go where we're going here, where we openly go. He subtly hinted at where we're going right now. But the point is, if you were to say to John Keel, after sitting with hundreds and hundreds of people and getting their testimony, let's just say again, there was one I remember where somebody's on a deserted highway. Of course, they're always by themselves, and a spaceship lands and spacemen come out. If you were to ask John Keel, do you think that the person you're interviewing, the eyewitness or those giving their testimony, do you think they're crazy, delusional, and making it up? He would say no. They're not crazy at all. And then you could say to him, well, do you believe it really happened? Do you believe a spaceship actually landed? And he would say no. Well, how could it be both? If the person's not crazy, then a spaceship actually landed. This is the trap that a lot of first grade, what I call the first through fifth grade truther fall into, always trying to find an explanation. He didn't know how to talk about it, but he subtly hinted at like manifestation. They believed it was going to happen, and he doesn't talk about it at length. And people that know John Keel's work, they came back to me and said, in other books he gets into that more, very subtly and carefully hints at it. It's almost like he doesn't want to be considered crazy because the subject matter is crazy enough. What we're doing in this video, we do this all the time, is of course all of reality stems from consciousness. It's not strange to us to say a phenomenon or anything came from consciousness, because rule number 1 of Kabbalion or anything else, all is mind. No Big Bang came first. Big Bang came from consciousness. Consciousness came first. So he hints at it here. But the key point